Absol is the seventh confirmed seventh. I looked it up this time. Raid in the 2020-25 Halloween event in PokeMMO. Let's talk about it. It was pretty fun, as long as you don't get unlucky, of course. Really quick to go over locations first, though. Kanto Route 10 is probably the easiest. You can fly directly to the power plant, to the PC you can see up in the top right of the screen currently. That's a super simple one to get to if you have it. I think the rest are all pretty easy with the exception of Guidance Chamber in Unova. We have Route 45 in Johto, Route 120 in Hoenn, Route 217 in Sinnoh, and Guidance Chamber is inside of Mistralton Cave, which requires Surf to get to. Quite the pain. I'm very familiar with it because all of my alts only have Unova done, so I needed to find some creative way to get there. I used Poliwrath with close combat, also learned Surf. If you need HMs, that's a convenient one. Poliwrath is pretty cheap and will hit damage cap quite easily. For its mechanics, we have the aforementioned Bad Luck. Bad Luck can manifest in a few ways. The first is it will reduce your Pokemon's HP to 1. The other is you will forget 2 moves at random. The third is your Pokemon will attack a neighboring teammate, which is quite annoying. And the last is it will just reduce your defenses, probably the most inconsequential of all of them, given that you're going to be one-hit KO'd most of the time. So the really bad luck could happen if your Heal Block Pokemon comes in and is unable to click Heal Block for either forgetting Heal Block due to the first mechanic or going berserk and attacking a neighboring teammate. So you could just get your entire run ruined. Otherwise, yeah, it shouldn't matter all that much. You will lose some damage along the way to those mechanics, but you shouldn't lose enough for it to really matter. At 75%, Thunder Wave will go off. This will go off early on turn 2. You will want to bring either Pokemon with Lum or Cherry to get rid of the paralysis, or just gamble it. I gambled it and was fine. You'll just get paralysis hacks, assuming if you have Tailwind up, you can ignore the speed. Basically, with fast Pokemon, you'll still outspeed, and then it'll just be the chance to be paralyzed for the turn, not using a move. Up to you if you want to remove the status. You could also bring something like a Golurk or a Crocodile in order to bring a ground type that has fighting coverage. Bring your Golurk, teach it. I think it gets superpower, or Krook gets close combat. They both get Brick Break. Golurk gets Drain Punch. I'm pretty sure any of them will hit cap into the Absol that's reducing its own stats with close combat. So up to you. I ignored you. If you're finding it inconsistent, you could throw the Cherry or the Lumberry on to make sure that you get that damage off. At 50%, there's a Swords Dance. We're just going to leave that up to ensure that we're dying, especially the person who has Heal Block. They need their Pokemon to faint. If their Pokemon lives on the turn that Wish goes off, you're screwed and you just have to go next. So Swords Dance is good. And at 40%, we have the Wish. This is the most important mechanic of the fight. You kind of have to get Heal Block off in order for this to not happen. It's kind of tough to find the damage otherwise to just ignore it entirely. I know that some people have told me they've ignored it and they've just used all damage. Definitely a possibility, but if you just happen to get unlucky and lose too much damage to the bad luck mechanic, could be quite annoying. So Heal Block is a bit safer, especially for solo queuing. You definitely want to bring Heal Block. So that goes for mechanics. Let's take a look at a quick little composition. I'm recommending Tailwind. Absol is slow enough that you could probably get rid of the Tailwind and just go pure damage to burn it down, like I said, ignoring Wish. Tailwind just makes it a bit more consistent if you've got slower fighting types or you're not quite EV trained potentially well enough. There is enough damage across most of the fight to not have to deal with it. So you'll want Tailwind on turn 1. Heal Block should happen at around turn 4. That's where I think it will most likely happen. But because there's inconsistencies to fight through bad luck, it may go off earlier, it may go off later. Probably not earlier, but maybe later. So you'll just have to time it, watch when Wish happens, then bring Heal Block in the following turn, just for consistency's sake. With that said, it's just be to click fighting moves for the rest of the time. Tailwind on turn 5 to make sure that you have the speed. You could also ignore this if you save your faster Pokemon for late. Absol's not all that speedy, so could get around it very easily. Kind of choose your own adventure here, but yeah, the main things to consider are Tailwind, the paralysis on turn 2, and then heal blocking later. So I did recommend, if you recall last year, I recommended Sun. That's mostly because we just didn't have as much information or preparation. This was the first year that we had those raids. Now that most people have plenty of fighting types between this and Lunar New Year, fighting types is the recommendation. If you're a new player and you only have Sun type Pokemon fire types, you can bring your Darmanitan, click Superpower. You can bring your Volcarona, click Bug Buzz. If you absolutely need to, you can bring your, Charizard, and just click super effective, neutrally effective fire move that'll hit damage cap anyway. It'll be easy to find the damage, I think. So no worries, but fighting is what's recommended here. And we will take a look at the battle itself here. I'm leading with Gallades. Gallades will definitely do enough damage to ignore the Intimidates turn 1. I'm pretty sure most fighting types with a damage boosting item will still hit damage cap despite the lead Intimidates. If you recall, last year we actually had a Perish Song that had more Intimidates go off, but the damage is very easy to come by. Went with Heracross, another great fighting type. You could click either fighting or bug type moves, but we will just be clicking close combat for consistency's sake. One of my Heracrosses didn't get the damage off. I'm not quite sure why. They all have the same speed. I tried to look back and figure out what happened. I'm not quite sure, but there's 6% damage loss. So it could have been a bad luck move that I missed, whatever. Not super worried about it. Here are my Poliwraths that I use for my alts to get to Mistralton, Cave to get to Guidance Chamber. You also just use close combat on Hitmonlee despite high jump kick, doing so much more with recklessness. I just didn't feel like losing the accuracy. And again, you don't need that extra damage. It's very easy to hit damage cap. At the end there, we did see the wish go off. So in comes my wish Smeargle, or my heal block Smeargle rather, for the wish. And also a preview of what's to come for Darkrai. I have some Primates prepared for Darkrai should I need them, or to resell, flip, whatever. Vital Spirit Primate is good for the lead Dark Void that makes your Pokemon go to sleep. So we have blocked the heal. We did have one of our Primates attack our own teammate, so that was an additional bit of damage loss. It would be really helpful to illustrate this if the damage percentage is updated live instead of after each turn like they used to. Hopefully that gets fixed soon. It's a giant pain, but that is what we have to deal with at the moment. We get our damage off, and this one actually comes down to the wire for me. I have to bring Murkrows on my alts because of the OT clause, and that's the only OT I have on some of them. So we do have the remaining 18%. So I got pretty unlucky, I'd say, for this run, and still squeaked out all of the damage necessary. If you were a bit more careful in your composition with other team members, you could quite easily beat this boss with, no sweat at all. So did get a nice Absol there, Adamant, and some high IVs. Otherwise, good luck with the fight, and I'll see you in the Darkrai video.